And they put me in the room, and in one arm, pretty rapidly, put a major dose of antihistamines. The other arm, it was a major dose of steroids. And when those steroids went down my arm and got to my heart, like that second, that's what did it. And the second I felt it go through my arm, hit my heart stops, and I'm like blast through essentially what felt like a tube or a wormhole. Apologies for any cliches, but that is what it felt like. Blasted like at the speed of light. And I find myself in this unusual place that appears to be darkness. But you have to understand that the second that you die, you're not in the physical world anymore. It's a whole different ballgame. So you don't have eyes. So what I was perceiving as darkness may not have been even relative to light or dark. But I essentially pop out in this zone, which I have no understanding of. And I grew up in Memphis with no religious ties. So I grew up not kind of ever hearing about religion or growing up with a childhood religion. So I didn't really have a religious background to frame this experience, which I think actually gave me a pretty pure experience of what happens after death, because I had no preconceived concept of what happens. I kind of just didn't really ever learn about it or go to church or anything. So I'm in this space, and the first thing that hits me is what happened and the realization that I was still me, even though nobody. So nobody, but I was still me. I still felt like my consciousness. And I'm sort of coming online in this very unusual scenario of having no physical body. And I'm sort of poking my head around and realizing that I was able to move around at will, kind of like you just think left and you move left. And I was able to kind of float around. So I'm getting my bearings in this place, which is beyond this world. And presented to me, there were no entities, no voices, nothing like that, but just plumed up in front of me is what appeared to be, and this sounds totally nuts, but I want to give an accurate representation of what truly happened to me. It was what appeared to be kind of like a translucent Rolodex of images, kind of like image cards or image discs. And I was able to flip through these with my mind, kind of like if you were trying to move a cursor with your mind and you were like, move it to the left. So I started flipping through these things, and they were images from my life, which immediately gave me the impression that my lifetime here on planet Earth was being monitored by something, and there was a record of it. But I flipped through these images. Some of them I didn't recognize mixed in, and it didn't quite make sense. So I'm totally confused. But let me tell you, the feeling of being outside of your body was pure bliss. And another realization I got was that when you're in a physical body, that is that nervous system and everything that your soul or spirit or whatever you want to call it is tethered to. That's where all of your sensation comes from, that feeling of being weighed down by gravity, that feeling of being sensitive to your environment, touch, all these sensations all stripped away, and you're just really what you truly are. And that feeling was so incredible. It was like the weight of the world finally removed, and to feel what it's like to just be truly free. So that's the other takeaway, was that the life that we live here on earth is some type of illusion. It's not actually what is really happening, and that there's a true nature of reality that is greatly misunderstood from person to person, regardless of religion. And I remember having this feeling of like all religions were kind of right in a way, and that there is this moving on into another lifetime. So I have this moment of realization in this weird space, and then out of nowhere, provoked by nothing I could see, snap back down the same way I came, boom, onto the operating tray or whatever I was on, and the operating table or whatever it was. And that feeling of re-entering a human body